The challenge, you want to know the sickest thing? The challenge, Bjorn and Murray pitched MTV the challenge. What they did was they were looking for a way to grow the brand without needing more road rules. I don't know if I said it, so that it is the truth. It is what it is. So Real World was doing well. Road rules stuck around because it gave us new talent, an excuse to do something new with an audience, with talent that an audience was so deeply connected with. Because like at that point, Real World, they weren't seen as contestants or participants. They were like special subjects of something we spent a year with or 6 months, kind of scrutinizing and living with. We had a real emotional connection to them. To push them to a challenge was interesting because we were invested in them. So I think there was Battle of the Sexes and Battle of the Sexes 2, which OG Mark hosts. And then I get a call that they want to have they want to no longer let Cast host it. They're looking for a host. And I got the call on Tuesday. I started doing my research. And then that Saturday on Saturday Night Live, Johnny Mosley hosted. And he was like the Olympic golden boy. And he was hysterical, and he was in New York, and the executive from MTV is a big skier. So sometimes you need to know how to speak the language of the room. So I'm like, this is, and at a point in time where ESPN2 has taken pretty much all the male viewers of MTV. There's no more Rock and Jock Music Festival, Sports and Music Festival. Nothing with an athlete is sticking anymore. And I thought, this is my way that I can get someone in. And we got Johnny. Johnny is an Olympic skier, an Olympian, so he's busy in the winter, but available in the summer. Then we ended up linking up with Dave Mira, God rest his soul. And Dave, just as BMX was exploding, got to work with us. He did 2 seasons, and then we had his Pike season. He became the face of BMX quickly. And Johnny and and TJ Lavin and I met the very first Rock and Jock Music Festival in 1998. I'm like sweeping his Porsche. I just want to leave a good impression for this athlete. And I'll never forget TJ. We were friends 3 or 4 years. And when he came to New York, he just got a deal with William Morris. He's a songwriter. So he got a music deal, and he was so excited. He comes to his friend at MTV to tell him he gets a music deal, which makes sense. I can't wait to see him. It's so cool.
Big news.
And he comes in my office and he looks around, and I've got like flat out rainbow flags and LGBTQ everywhere. And at a point in time where it was squirmish to bring up people's like personalities, TJ was like, dude, he's like, I had no clue you were gay. I just thought like you literally took all the women away from me. I didn't realize that we could be in like working together. And we had this moment where probably things you shouldn't say at work. I felt so seen. I could cry now thinking about like, I am looking for an athlete to fill the shoes of a show about the challenge, a physical, mental, emotional show about the challenge. And here I have this guy who I feel like is going to fight for my rights, whether I'm in the room or not, let alone when I am in the room. It's easy for me to feel like you got my back when you're in the room with me. Cause like, I know what that feeling feels like the guy getting gassed, but here was someone who I really felt respected and seen. And he brought it up in a way that was so embedded in kindness and in comfort that it made me fight really hard for him to be the one to get that job. And he wasn't who Bjorn Murray wanted. I only say that because he tells everybody that. But it's one of his buddies who was up for the gig, and it would have been a good name. You all knew, you all would have known the names, and you probably, if you followed, sports back then, you certainly would now, recognize it. But TJ, man, and then look at what he's gone through physically. He's like had some pretty near death experiences. That guy, Absolutely. I can't imagine a better athlete to be in that spot. And now the show is even bigger. Like now we're like on CBS. Now we're like, it's like. Thing. I was like, I was just with Anissa like last weekend. She was in New York for Dave Matthews, and I was like, how come everyone's coming on our network? When do we start going on those other networks? Like I want to see MTV on CB, and I'm gonna get my people from MTV on those big networks. It's nice to see the Miz doing his thing, on big networks.
Oh yeah,
right?
What's his
cool to see him? Yeah,
no, he does not do. Yeah.
You don't do that. That's John Cena. Excuse me.
Jesus, bro. Watch wrestling, bro. Like, come on.